to get him in the lineup, wouldn't it? Well, let's remember this. Not like he tore the cover off the ball during the playoffs. And the one thing you've learned, despite the fact that he put on his back during the regular season, if you can't hit in the playoffs, it doesn't really matter. I don't care if you hit 700 home runs. If you can't hit in the playoffs, then what good does that do you? You hit 700 home runs, and you're sitting at home in October on the couch.
Well, there's factors, though, Fred. Let's call it what it is. Yes, he did put him on the back, but let's not think like the Yankees did anything else. Anybody else come through for the Yankees. And in order for, especially in the playoffs, no care what sport it is, your supporting cast means more to you in the playoffs than any other time because they can neutralize certain guys in a playoff. You can neutralize if Aaron Judge is the only one that can beat you on a Yankee lineup, which it was during the playoffs and in their run, because the Yankees, much like the Dodgers, the bats went cold. Nobody else really did anything. In fact, Aaron Judge had to carry him into the playoffs. But if you don't have anybody hitting behind you, in front of you, around you, means Aaron Judge is not going to get any good pitches to hit. It's just simple as that, and he didn't. And they're walking him, and they're pitching around him. Now, granted, pitches he did get to hit, you got to hit him, but it's not as if he's got a ton of protection around him in that Yankee uniform. So it's more than just, the guy didn't hit in the playoffs. It's more than that. I can remember, Barry Bonds with the Giants, and them being able to pitch around him and nobody else really doing damage. The one year they got to the World Series and ended up losing, but they couldn't do damage around him, and they could neutralize him in the playoffs because they were not going to let Barry Bonds beat him, just like teams are not going to let Aaron Judge beat him.
Okay, so you're saying that's what happened to Mookie Betts?
I think Mookie's a different story. I think it was a different story because it wasn't. Mookie does have the talent around him in the top three of the lineup. In the case of Mookie, I think it was over-pressing more so than anything else. I don't think they were pitching around Mookie because they knew that Freddie Freeman can beat you and Trey Turner can beat you, and typically Will Smith has beaten you, but he didn't show up in the playoffs either. So I don't think it was just them pitching around Mookie. I think Mookie just had a struggle.
Okay. That being said, Dodger fans, probably you would love to get Aaron Judge. The name game. So let's figure out how you go about that. Now, the Dodgers have the highest payroll in baseball. They can have the highest payroll in baseball. I've always said it's not my money, so, I can say whatever I want. If it is, I might spend it differently.
Are they the highest?
Yeah, yeah, this year they were. Absolutely.
They were?
Absolutely.
The Yankees were higher than that.
All right, no, they were higher. So the Dodgers have and they can have it. And they can have it every single year. If they choose to, they can have it every single year. And that's why they're the villains of baseball now, because they can outspend everybody, and they're not afraid to spend their money. But let's try to be businesslike in our decision making.
And let's understand that doesn't automatically make you win the World Series.
Yeah, I guess we know that.
According to money, you still got to play. It's one thing. Okay, I'm gonna get the best. I have all the money. I'm gonna get the best race car, and I'm gonna go out there and buy all the highest end parts and all those type of things to make sure my race car goes faster than anybody else. Well, you can't do that in racing because you got to be under code. In baseball, there's still a human factor involved. So you can pay all these guys all the money. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to win a championship.
All right.
I think people feel that's an automatic, and it's not. Never has been.
Well, we found that out, didn't we? We've lived that. We know that part of it. Yeah, it doesn't guarantee
Everybody's
anything.
lived that. Many people have lived that.
All right.
Doesn't guarantee wins.
So let's
stop it with that.
Let's say we want to conduct our business properly. Okay? So we got to get some money off the books because Aaron Judge is going to cost close to $50 million. So we have to get money off the books to be able to afford him. We can do what we want, but we can't go insane. So let's get money off the books. Let's see if this makes sense. So Cody Bellinger, I think he'd sign for about 18 this year. I think that's what his number's going to be, right in that ballpark. Justin Turner, going to be about 16 if the club picks up the option. That's 34. Trey Turner made $7.5 million. We know he's going to make a lot more, but we'll just work with what he made. So that's about 41. There's $41 million. Now, if we take that off the books, we can then say, all right, we're going to spend $41 million on Aaron Judge. If we take that off the books, that means we're not going to re-sign Trey. We're not going to pick up Justin's option. And we're not going to tender Cody Bellinger a contract. We'd have to get rid of those 3 salaries to be able to get Aaron Judge if we made that decision. So if that's the case.
Are those the only 3 salaries we can get rid of? Isn't Clayton Kershaw coming off the books?
Yeah, but they'll
They
re-sign
got to
him.
re-sign him. I know, but not to the $30 million that he was.
No, but they'll re-sign him. All right, for 15. I'm talking about guys we got to move.
Yeah.
Guys we got to move. All right. If we have to move those 3, or if we have to go on without them, is that a fair exchange to try to sign Aaron Judge?
Without Bellinger, without
the Turners,
without all 3 of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. No. You're still going to have to go. So you're not going to replace. You're saying this. You're not replacing Trey Turner with an elite shortstop. You're going to stay within.
Correct. We're going to put Gavin Lux at short and Mookie at second.
Okay.
We'll have Aaron Judge in the outfield with Trace Thompson.
Yeah, and Chris Taylor in left.
Right.
Just say he's in left.
Right. And we'll play Muncy at third.
Yeah. See, I could live with probably the Bellinger and the Trey Turner. I would keep Justin around because he's still at a favorable price. You can still live with that. You're already paying a luxury tax anyway. Why not a few dollars more?
All right. I would not think that moving all 3 of those guys or moving off them would be sufficient to sign Aaron Judge. I don't know. Sure, would you want him on your team? Absolutely. Is he going to put people in the seats? Sure.
Oh, you're saying is that enough to sign him?
No, they'll have to add a little bit.
$41 million. He's going to want 50 at least.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw some more in there. There's no question about it. Here's what I'm saying. Does he make them better? Yes. Of course. Of course he makes them better just by virtue of the fact that he can hit the way he does. But I don't know if you would sacrifice that much to get him. I don't know if you would sacrifice the elite shortstop and Justin Turner to get him. And the jury's out on Bellinger. They tender him, you got him. You don't tender him, he goes somewhere else, and their concern is he turns it around and somehow relearns to hit again. But I think that's an awful lot. At 3 guys to get 1, I don't think so. Not in this situation. And also,
but
Aaron,
there's a team that can do it. It's the Dodgers because they have so much versatility that, as you mentioned, you throw Gavin Lux, and we haven't seen him play a full season at shortstop. He's played when guys have been hurt, and for the most part, he's been the second baseman since he's been here because he's played. Corey Seager was here, and then Trey Turner. So we've yet to see him flourish, which is, by the way, his natural position is shortstop, where he played in the minor leagues, came up, right?
Yeah.
So, but all accounts that he can handle and take that next step because he's actually gotten better every year, that he could take that next step and fall into that role of the everyday shortstop. And the productivity that you may lose, say you lost this year with Corey Seager being gone, which, by the way, I think it was a significant one. And then, you lose Trey Turner and Cody Bellinger. I think you got enough of your core nucleus still around you that deal could be done without it being you taking much of a hit or being hurt by losing those guys.
See, the Dodgers spread it around, though. On paper, their lineup, 1 through 9, if everybody played the way they were supposed to all year long, was spectacular. Okay, it didn't play out that way because the guys are human and they go through stuff. Aaron Judge, you put them, now Aaron Judge is hitting cleanup and Will Smith is hitting 5th. The top 5. Yeah, but that wouldn't be the case anymore because Trey Turner would be gone.
Trey Turner's gone, so he's in the top 3. So he's in somewhere in that top 3. And plus, I didn't like the way they moved him to hit and lead off in the playoffs for whatever reason. I didn't like that move.
So I guess you'd hit Mookie, Freeman.
Yeah, he had Mookie, Freeman, Judge, and then Will Smith behind Judge.
Then Muncie.
Because if Will Smith's behind Judge, he's given the way Will Smith has progressed over the last 2-3 years, he's going to continue that way. And yes, he adds that protection for Aaron Judge, because Will Smith is kind of solidified himself as the best hitting catcher in the game. So you're not going to pitch around Aaron Judge to get to Will Smith, because Will Smith is going to hurt you too. So that's a good spot for him. Or you switch him. You hit Aaron Judge second and hit Freddie Freeman third. You go Mookie, Aaron Judge, Freddie Freeman, which would be extremely dangerous.
Well, Judge would get better pitches hitting second.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But then you have to wonder if Muncie's going to come back. I think he'll bounce back.
Oh, I think so too. That year after your injury, remember here that he had his injury the last game of the season, the year before. So it wasn't like he had a full year recovery. And so that year after a major injury, it's usually a year to get yourself back and get kind of get going. It's not usually your best year. Very rarely do you see guys bounce all the way back in that year following major surgery. It usually takes them a couple years. So I'm expecting Max Muncy to come back and be, back to that 30-plus home run guy that's hitting in the, mid 200s to high 200s. So I expect him to do that with, close to 100 RBIs, because he'll have another year removed from that injury.
All right, and then you have to wonder if Chris Taylor will bounce back.
I think same thing.
Yeah.
I think same thing. I think he battled the injury all season long. He's a quiet, unassuming guy, takes all the responsibility, not going to say that he's hurting, but clearly he was. He was not right the whole season, especially after the All-Star game where he hurt his foot and just couldn't really recover from that. I think it was a matter of him being injured for the latter part of the year. And I do believe he will bounce back, and a good veteran to have. So if you're going to make the deal and your outfield is Judge, Trace Thompson, and Chris Taylor, I'm okay with that.
All right.
That's pretty good.
Do you think Trace Thompson now is an everyday major leaguer?
I do. Because what is he now? 30, 21, 29, 30? He's like early 30s, right? 31,
yeah,
something like that. I do. I think he has, bounced around, seen enough. When he got found to be more than just a spot player that plays when somebody's taking a day off or getting a pinch hit here and there, he got to play more on a regular basis. You saw what he can do. And if he goes into next spring training and he feels like, or they establish that he is the guy, he's our everyday center fielder or our everyday left fielder, I think he's going to get even better. I think it's going to be, from a mental standpoint, it's like, okay, now I'm part of the fabric of the team. I'm a starter. I'm an everyday player. Now I can relax and go play even better than I played the year before. So, yeah, I do believe Trace Thompson can be a dominant force for this team.
All right, so after talking about it, and at first I said I wouldn't do it. After talking about it, maybe I would do it.
What do you think?
Maybe I would do it now.
What do you think?
After talking it out, right?
I think so. Here's the question. Do you go get him and forget about this talk of trying to go get a high-priced shortstop like Carlos Correa? Is it more about the player than the position?
I think with the Dodgers, it's more about the player.
Go get the best player out there, regardless of his position, right? Everybody looks at it and goes, well, if you lose Trey Turner, you got to go get a shortstop. You got to go get Carlos Correa or somebody like that that's at the top of their game. The top 2 or 3 shortstop in the league. Got to go get that. Well, no. Why? Why not go get the best potential player and make it work? Whether he plays